Okay, we are sticking with the theme of elasticity. So, what we're going to look at now is the idea of cross elasticity of demand. Okay, let's just go back to that word again, elasticity. So, we're just looking at how responsive are consumers. Okay, except the difference here is that we are going to consider how responsive consumers are when there's a change in the price of another product. Okay, so this we are comparing two products together. So we say, what is the percentage change in quantity demanded of A when there is a percentage change in the price of B? So we are introducing this idea that we're going to compare the relationship between two products. And really what that's going to do is going to tell us, are these products substitute goods or are they complementary goods? And the outcome at the end, whatever we get here, will not just tell us how closely those products are related, but they'll also tell us, are they a substitute for each other or are they complementary of each other, i.e. they are in joint demand. Now you can start to probably think of examples of products that are substitute goods, and you could probably start to think about examples of products that are complementary goods. Okay, complementary goods are a bit more difficult to think of. Okay, but if you start thinking about things like mobile phones and access to data plans, or something like when you book a hotel, you might also book a rental car, or if you buy a car, you might also buy car insurance. These things are in joint demand. Substitute goods, I think instinctively it's easier to think of what they might be. So if you go into a supermarket, you will be able to choose which type of meat to buy, for example. You might choose to buy lamb or pork or beef or chicken. Or you might decide when you walk down the aisle with fizzy drinks, which brand of fizzy drinks or which type of fizzy drinks to buy. If you go to a shopping centre and you go to a shop that sells trainers, you're probably aware that you've got quite a selection of substitute goods that you might choose from one to another. So substitute goods are quite easy to think of instinctively. So let's get into this and see if we can choose two products, and we'll try and work out whether they're complementary or substitute goods, okay? Now, try and forget everything you know about this situation, okay? But let's just add something to this. So let's say avocados and bananas. Okay? So, if we use these two products, avocados and bananas, so what we're saying is, what will happen to the demand for avocados when there is a change in the price of bananas? Now, sometimes nothing will happen, and that means that the two products are unrelated, which is quite possible. But sometimes there is a relationship between these two products that we might be unaware of, or we might know, but we want to see how tight it is. So let's say a change in the price of bananas. So let's say bananas go from being 0.5 euros each to being 0.6 euros each. Okay, so a banana might cost 50 cents, and now it might cost 60 cents. So the price of bananas has gone up. Okay, now that immediately doesn't tell us anything about its relationship with avocados. But what we do know, and this is important, what we do know is that the demand for bananas is likely to fall. Okay, so the price of bananas have gone up. Sorry, the price of bananas has gone up, the demand for bananas will go down. So we know that this is an increase in price. So we know it's going to be plus. We're now going to work out how much it's gone up by. Well, all we're going to do is the same as we've done before. We're going to take the change, divide it by the original value. So we're going to go 0.1 divided by 0.5. Let's get rid of those zeros. They don't need to be there. 1/5. So we know that the price of bananas has gone up by 1/5. 1/5 is, of course, 20%. So this is a 20% increase in the price of bananas. That's going to be the bottom of this formula, right? Percentage change in price of bananas, 20%. Gone up by 20%. Plus 20. Now, following that change in the price of bananas, we say, okay, well, what has happened to the demand for avocados then? So we just think of an example. We say, okay, well, when bananas were 50 cents, they were 100, let's say 100, 10, 100 avocados that were bought, for example. Following the price rise, we see that the number of avocados sold went to 110. What does this tell us? Well, it tells us two things. First of all, we know that this has gone up, and therefore it's a positive. And this is a very simple one, isn't it? 100 to 110, change divided by original value, 10 over 100. That gives us a 10% increase in the demand for avocados. Simple stuff. What we do know is that this is our cross elasticity of demand. And all we're going to do is going to do plus 10 divided by plus 20. So we know it's a plus. That's really important. We'll come to that in a minute. And we know it's 0.5 because we've got 1 over 2. So 0.5. So there's a few things here we need to be aware of. If you see that there is a plus sign at the beginning of your answer, it means that these are substitute goods. If there is a negative sign, it means they are complementary goods. And that's the first important thing to recognize. Now, the number itself doesn't really tell us very much. It tells us how closely those two products are related. The higher the number, the more related they are. The closer the substitute or the closer the complementary good. Okay? So, you need to be able to, first of all, work out a few things. Is it a positive? If it is, it's a substitute. Is it a negative? If it's a negative, it's a complementary good. How closely they are related will be determined by how big this number is. If it's quite a small number, they are not very closely related. If it is a big number, then they are very closely related. Okay? That's all for now. Let's move on from that.